It's tiring, all the brain work. It feels like I'm burnt out sometimes, and so I wanted to give you a little update. So I've basically got 6 segments, new segments, ready to go in the rotor assembly. This is the rotor assembly. I dismantled it so we could see properly. So I've got to take them out because those are obsolete. Those segments on that side. So basically, as you know, they just slide into the rotor. Anyway, so what I did was order some small magnets. These are the tiny little 4x4. These are 4x4 by 2mm for the side. I'll just stick them in a line. So these are very tiny, and the reason for the small ones is to capitalize on the coil in the canopy, which is on the side of the canopy. These coils that run down to these pegs that run around, those little magnets will create the anti-drag, extra anti-drag in an area that you can't normally get it. Now I'll explain why. Oops, I don't want to drop that on the floor. Oops. Right, so obviously because of the orientation of the magnets, the main generator magnets are actually facing outwards on this edge because the coil is actually running around. And so most of our magnetic field is what influences the coil, which is coming out here, which that's the repulsion one and that's the subtraction one. So the magnets our sequential magnets, which, oh, by the way, look at my new toy. I've got a laser. Oh yeah, I wanted to get it to help with alignment on my 3D printer, but let's show you. It's pretty cool. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's a bit bright for the camera, so we can shine in there. So, oh, let's look across the room. Ooh, look at that. So anyway, it's got a torch as well, which is neat. So acetone treated these. It's a bit bright for the camera for some reason, yeah. So I can point with it as well, which is kind of bright though. Anyway, I'm sidetracking. So the little paintbrush twistle. These, yeah. Back. Right. So this is on the back and the others are for the front. So those are for the front because you can see the magnets are kind of pointing in this direction, and these are for the back because it's a mirror image. So these segmented magnets that are in alignment, the poles are orientated to react against the coil. Now, because these main power magnets here are pointed outwards, there was nowhere for me to put anti-drag magnets on this side because it would interfere with the main field for the generation of the electrical energy. So what we had to do was circumvent that by having these little 3 magnets underneath, which work on the sides of the coil, which I was just showing you on that coil assembly. So what we have is a chain, a broken chain. So effectively what's happening is the magnets up here, 2 magnets here, then it goes around and around. So this is a broken chain, and that effectively creates the anti-drag method. Now I could add an extra magnet, one of these big powerful magnets, in these big slots, but I decided just to go with 2 for now because I don't want to overwhelm it. We could generate more power if we put an extra magnet in these slots as well, but it'll also make the rotor a lot heavier as well. So I wanted to keep the weight down as well, because the more weight you put on the bearings, then you have other friction issues as well. So we have our anti-drag circuit, and it works very well. I mean, I've been holding it, and it, trust me, it really pushes against there. So our equal opposite reaction, if I could just, I can't really show you this properly because it's, but that pulls in really strongly on this side, right? Oops, you see it lifted up in the air. I'm trying to show you this without it. Right, you see it kicked to the left, right? Once you get to this point over here, it's not pulling much at all there, right? So to show you that, if I come up to this point and try to do an arc, you'll see it will lift it up. Sorry, my camera's sliding. If I move slightly over the top there, it grabs it, because that's where most of the traction is at that point. Oops. So most of the traction is at the top, but our coils will be interacting with these little magnets on the side, and on this side it actually pushes it away. Don't know if I can show you this. On the side of these, like, oh shit. It's difficult to show you on here. You just have to trust me. I felt it, and it will actually push at this. These will actually, it's pushing on there. It's hard to show you with one hand, but it definitely pushes away. As you can see, it's pushing. It's not pulling. It's pushing away, look. So it will actually increase our exit velocity. Remember, this is the same pole that's pulling on this side, look. So it pulls there, right, and it actually pushes there, right? You see the effect? So what we have is it pulls in, right? Let me get this in the right place. I'm trying to get in the null spot. The dead zone's right in the middle. Right. I can't do it. Anyway, you'll see it when I get it running, when I get it working, you'll see the effect that it has. So I've got 6 of these now, and these little tiny magnets, these little diddy things here, they don't go all the way through, by the way. They only go through 4mm. So the 4mm deep. So these little magnets here are just 4mm deep into the side, because you see, we don't want any magnetism going in any other direction. We just want to capitalize on the field that they generate from the side, because the side is where they're going to interact with the coil that's on the side of that canopy that I was showing you. So yeah, so we're getting there. Based on current progress, we should have a full set by the weekend, hopefully, because these are all, that's one, where's the other one? That's the other one. So these are the left-hand rotor ones. Those are the left-hand rotor ones, and those are the right-hand rotor ones. You can see the difference. The magnets on the, oops. The magnets that are on there are just tilted a slightly different direction. So if I put them side by side with the other ones, and they also lean differently as well. So I've got 6 of those. I need another 6, and I'm printing 2 more at the moment. So yeah, I had a bit of a mishap earlier. One of my print jobs, yeah, I tried to glue it down, but it didn't work. It's a reject. So I had 2 segments that were printing, and I thought, shit, I'm just going to abort it. I thought maybe I can stick these 2 halves together, because if I mirror image it and stick them together, I could make one good one. But then I thought, what's the point? I need my print setup is printing pairs, and that's an odd one now. So, oh yeah, there's the other reject down there. Yeah. So anyway, so we're getting there. What else was there to update you? Oh, the battery balancing. Regarding the battery balancing, I might as well get an update with that. I shuffled a few batteries around. As you can see, the colours are slightly different, the cells are different, because the balance charger circuit board that balances the batteries only really kicks in when they get to the maximum voltage anyway. And I was seeing a little bit of an imbalance. Some of the cells in the middle were higher voltage than the ones down here, and that's because these ones at the bottom were lower impedance. So I shuffled some of the lower impedance ones up here and the higher impedance ones down there, and we've got a much better balance. So I've got another week of balancing it. I've basically got to run it for a while, just charge it, discharge it a bit, then let it charge up again, discharge it a bit, and so on, you know, until we see an unequal offset, and then we have to rebalance and find the cells which are weaker, which are stronger. You know, it's just boring. It's really boring having to mess with that, but yeah, you got to make sure it's right before you put them in the battery boxes which I printed. I don't want to start putting them in there because they're out of sight, out of mind once they're in there. So I just want to get them all right before I build the damn thing, because I don't want to have any fires or any mishaps or anything like that, do we? What else is there? Well, not really. I mean, nothing else really. So I've got these. The magnets that I'm using in the segments, they're different, by the way. So I've got the N52s, these are the really strong ones. These are N52s, which I ordered. So, or was it N56s? I can't remember. These are the strong ones, and they basically go... Let's see if I can show you, because it's a little bit subtle here. So the strong magnets are that one, that one, and that one. And these little end ones, if you look, they're different. These little ones on the end, that one there's different, because they're the N34, is it? I think N35 or something. So those are the weaker ones. There's a weaker one there, and weaker one on the end there, and that's an N50, yeah. So that's a weaker one, that's a strong one. So they're slightly, and these are all N34s, I think. These little ones at the bottom. There's so many bloody N numbers, I can't remember them all, you know. So anyway, but the reason for doing that is simply because it's not because of a specific reason other than the fact that I didn't have enough of the little weak ones to do it all. So I had to order some more magnets, so I ended up getting these stronger ones. But that's fine, because when you put magnets together, a little bit of buffing at this end doesn't hurt. So, but you could use all the same strength magnets all the way along there. But so anyway, they're a little bit different sizes. So that one's a bit wider. That's a 4mm wide one. This one's a 3mm wide. You can see the difference there anyway. So that's 4mm wide as well. That's 3mm wide. So they could be shallow, not as wide as that one anyway. But these are stronger. So even though they're narrower, 3mm, they're actually stronger than the wider ones. It's doing my head in all this. Yeah. So I know my laser works good, and yeah, the idea with the laser is to align the bed. And what I was thinking of doing, actually I could do this, but I can't hold the button while it's on the printer bed because I'd burn myself. So I'd have to do it when it's cold, because the heat might destroy the laser. But the idea was to lay this on the print bed on the side, right? Oh, that's the torch. Lay the laser and make it so that the button's on all the time, and then watch the dot across the room on the wall to see if the bed is twisting, right? See if it's twisting, because my friend's having issues with this printer. I wanted to show him how we could determine if the slop in the runners that's causing the bed to twist in that axis that could cause the prints to come out wrong. My print bed has also got a similar problem, where if I print a large square, it's wider at the top in that corner. It's actually wider from front to back than it is on the right side, and I don't know why. So the laser is a good way of testing that out, but that would have to be measured exactly parallel with the side of the print bed. The printer would also have to be perfectly parallel in relation to the wall, and that's going to be a bit of another challenge. I don't know how to do that, but I might just set up a screen or a piece of wood with a white piece of paper on it in front of the printer, and just watch the dot and see if it actually moves, twists, basically like sort of like moves sideways like that. Ooh, you can't even see, that's too bright. There, that's better. So if it moves slightly sideways like this when the print bed's going back, forwards, you know you've got a twist action going on. And it's a lot easier than using, it's more accurate than using a square. I mean, it's much easier than using one of them, what you call it, one of these square things, yeah? You know what I mean? Because you can actually measure it while it's moving. Unlike a square, it's a bit difficult. So anyway, yeah, I like my little laser. It's a tiny little thing. Pretty neat. Only a couple of quid. What was it, £3 or something? 270 or something, I don't know. Pretty neat little thing. It's got little tiny cell batteries in it. Come in handy for doing, well, all sorts of things really. Just point it at something. It shines right through the plastic as well. Look at that. See, it going right through the plastic. Let's see if it shines underneath there. Oh, look at that. It shines right through. Huh. Weird. Cool. Anyway, I'll save my battery if I want to need it. Anyway, that's it. That's the update for now. I'll probably another, I don't know. If I print 2 of them each day, probably 3 days before I get it done, hopefully by the weekend. So I'll keep you posted, and thanks for watching.